It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. Everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. The will to win, the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential. These are the keys that will unlock the door to personal excellence. Success depends upon previous preparation, and without such preparation there is sure to be failure. When anger rises, think of the consequences. Silence is a true friend who never betrays. Never give a sword to a man who can't dance. Humility is the solid foundation of all virtues. The cautious seldom err. If I am walking with two other men, each of them will serve as my teacher. I will pick out the good points of the one and imitate them, and the bad points of the other and correct them in myself. Heaven means to be one with God. I hear, I know. I see, I remember. I do, I understand. Never contract friendship with a man that is not better than thyself. You cannot open a book without learning something. To be wronged is nothing unless you continue to remember it. Do not impose on others what you yourself do not desire. A gentleman would be ashamed should his deeds not match his words. In a country well governed, poverty is something to be ashamed of. In a country badly governed, wealth is something to be ashamed of. The object of the superior man is truth. Learning without thought is labor lost, thought without learning is perilous. The more man meditates upon good thoughts, the better will be his world and the world at large. I want you to be everything that's you, deep at the center of your being. When you know a thing, to hold that you know it, and when you do not know a thing, to allow that you do not know it. This is knowledge. If you look into your own heart, and you find nothing wrong there, what is there to worry about? What is there to fear? A youth, when at home, should be filial and, abroad, respectful to his elders. He should be earnest and truthful. He should overflow in love to all and cultivate the friendship of the good. When he has time and opportunity, after the performance of these things, he should employ them in polite studies. To rule a country of 1,000 chariots, there must be reverent attention to business, and sincerity, economy in expenditure, and love for men, and the employment of the people at the proper seasons. The superior man acts before he speaks, and afterwards speaks according to his action. Virtuous people often revenge themselves for the constraints to which they submit by the boredom which they inspire. To see what is right and not to do it is want of courage, or of principle. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. To know what you know and what you do not know, that is true knowledge. By three methods we may learn wisdom: first, by reflection, which is noblest; second, by imitation, which is easiest; and third, by experience, which is the bitterest. Wherever you go, go with all your heart. When it is obvious that the goals cannot be reached, don't adjust the goals, adjust the action steps. It is easy to hate and it is difficult to love. This is how the whole scheme of things works. All good things are difficult to achieve, and bad things are very easy to get. Better a diamond with a flaw than a pebble without. He who learns but does not think, is lost. He who thinks but does not learn is in great danger. Old age, believe me, is a good and pleasant thing. It is true you are gently shouldered off the stage, but then you are given such a comfortable front stall as spectator. The strength of a nation derives from the integrity of the home. If you think in terms of a year, plant a seed; if in terms of 10 years, plant trees; if in terms of 100 years, teach the people. What you do not want done to yourself, do not do to others. Only the wisest and stupidest of men never change. We should feel sorrow, but not sink under its oppression. The expectations of life depend upon diligence. The mechanic that would perfect his work must first sharpen his tools. Study the past, if you would divine the future. Without feelings of respect, what is there to distinguish men from beasts? If we don't know life, how can we know death? They must often change, who would be constant in happiness or wisdom. The superior man thinks always of virtue, the common man thinks of comfort. To see the right and not to do it is cowardice. An oppressive government is more to be feared than a tiger. To practice 5 things under all circumstances constitutes perfect virtue. These 5 are gravity, generosity of soul, sincerity, earnestness, and kindness. Death and life have their determined appointments. Riches and honors depend upon heaven. The superior man is modest in his speech, but exceeds in his actions. To see and listen to the wicked is already the beginning of wickedness. Wisdom, compassion, and courage are the 3 universally recognized moral qualities of men. It is more shameful to distrust our friends than to be deceived by them.